The night it happened, the air was thick with sirens and panic. They wheeled him in fast. Vincent Hale, the man whose name was plastered on half the skyscrapers in Phoenix, his face swollen, lips turning blue, body jerking in a chair he could never leave. Shellfish allergy. That's what the EMT yelled. But to me, standing there in that crowded ER with my elderly neighbor, it looked like death was just one breath away from taking him. The nurse at the desk barely looked up when the paramedics shouted for a bed. "We're full. Walking patients first," she said, like a man's life was worth less because his legs didn't work. My jaw locked. I'd seen that look before, the one that writes you off before you even open your mouth. I stepped forward before I could talk myself out of it. "This man is dying," I said loud enough for the waiting room to hear. She gave me the kind of sigh people reserve for toddlers throwing tantrums. "Ma'am, sit down. Protocol." "Your protocol is to let him suffocate," I snapped, my voice shaking but sharp. The room went quiet, except for the ugly wheeze coming from Vincent's throat. She tried to wave me off, so I pulled out my phone. "Fine, I'll call Dr. Kessler, head of emergency. Let's see how he feels about his staff playing God." I didn't know Dr. Kessler from Adam, but she didn't know that. Her face went pale, and just like that, they were wheeling Vincent back. An hour later, he was breathing easy, and I was still in the waiting room holding my neighbor's hand. That's when his assistant appeared. "Mr. Hale wants to see you." I walked into a private room, and there he was. Silver hair combed back, sharp gray eyes studying me like I was an equation he couldn't solve. "You saved my life," he said, voice steady now. "Why?" "Because you're a person." I told him, "Your legs don't decide if you get to live." He kept staring. "What's your name?" "Monica Brooks." "Monica Brooks. How would you like a job?" I laughed. "I'm not a nurse. I don't care about licenses. I care about backbone. I need someone who'll speak up. Someone who sees me, not the chair. 50,000 a year benefits housing if you want it." I thought about my mom's chemo bills, the nursing school applications I couldn't afford, the 3 jobs slowly killing me. What would I have to do? Help me live. Keep me alive, preferably without any more seafood incidents. I said yes before I could think of a reason to say no. Walking into his mansion a week later was like stepping into another planet. Marble floors, art worth more than my childhood home, and Mrs. Dwyer, the head housekeeper, giving me the side-eye like she'd been doing this job since the Civil War. "Hope you last longer than the others," she muttered. "He's chewed through a dozen in 2 years." When I met Vincent in his study, the grateful patient from the hospital was gone. This was the mogul. Voice-clipped tone colder than the marble floors. "I don't need pity. I don't need a friend. Can you follow instructions? I can handle whatever you need." "Handled," I shot back. We started at 5:30 a.m. sharp. Calls to Tokyo reports spread like battle maps. Orders snapped without looking up. He treated everyone like staff, which I guess I was, but I wasn't there to fetch and nod. On my 3rd day, I suggested breakfast on the terrace. He refused. So I wheeled him out there anyway, papers and all. I said I eat in my study, he said, voice ice cold. "And I heard you." I smiled. Sometimes what we want and what we need are 2 different things. No one had told him no in years. His eyes narrowed, but he ate every bite under the sun, and I caught him glancing at the roses more than once. Over the weeks, the cracks showed. He liked his coffee black, his contracts in order, and his privacy impenetrable. But he also listened when I talked about my mom, about growing up on the West Side, about working until my bones ached and still coming up short. He didn't flinch when I told him I wasn't scared of money or the people who had it. Then one night he overheard me on the phone begging a hospital not to discharge my mom until I could scrape together the payment. I thought nothing of it, just another weight to carry. But 2 days later, the hospital called to say her entire bill, 300 grand, was gone. Anonymous. And the same day I got a letter awarding me a full ride to nursing school, no application required. I didn't know it then, but it was him. From there, the edges between us blurred. He started letting me drag him to the lake, to the market, even to the pediatric ward to visit sick kids. He started asking about my dreams. And somewhere between reading him Jane Eyre and making his grandmother's cornbread, I realized I wasn't just working for him. I was rooting for him. Then one night he told me about the bills, the scholarship, the flowers that had shown up for no reason. I froze. Gratitude and love are cousins you don't want to mistake for each other, and suddenly I didn't know which one had moved into my chest. You think this changes how I feel about you, he said. Doesn't it? I asked. No, because my feelings for you started the night you told that nurse to move her ass. I told him the truth then, that I'd fallen for him hopelessly and didn't know if it was real or just thank you dressed up pretty. It's real, he said, and I'm not letting you talk yourself out of it. He proposed 2 weeks later, candlelight on the terrace, a ring in a velvet box. No speeches about money, just a simple, I don't want to do life without you. I said yes. We got married in the garden 6 months after that. My mom, healthy and smiling, fixed my veil. His brother, who he hadn't spoken to in years, stood as best man. Mrs. Dwyer cried in the back row. And when we kissed, I swear even the skeptical looked convinced. Now we run the Hale Foundation together. Hundreds of full-ride scholarships for low-income students in healthcare. We travel, we argue about where to hang the ugly painting he loves. We sit on that same terrace at night and talk about everything from Ghana to grandkids we might adopt someday. I still think about that night in the ER, about the scared woman who almost stayed quiet, and the bitter man who almost stayed hidden. We both step forward instead. Some people see a billionaire in a chair and decide he's worth less. Some see a broke black woman and decide she can't change a damn thing. We proved them wrong. So tell me, if you were in that waiting room that night, would you have spoken up, or would you have looked away like it wasn't your fight? Because I can tell you this, the moment you decide to stand up for someone else might just be the moment that saves you both.